Hi warriors, my name is Sami. Welcome back to my channel. Have you smiled today? Today we're going to talk about something that's really maybe controversial, but cannabis and mental health. I'd like to share my personal experience with cannabis and trying to recover from depression and anxiety. I'd like to share that information with you, and I hope it helps you make good, constructive decisions in your mental health journey. But the first thing I wanted to put out there is I'm not a medical professional, so please speak to your doctor, your psychiatrist, your counselor, whatever support you have, and make sure that you completely explain and share what your struggles are so that they can prescribe the right medicine for you. I am not an expert, and so whatever I say, please take it with a grain of salt and do what's best for you. Make sure that your medicine supports the diagnosis that you have. All right, so let's get started with it. What do I think about cannabis, and how did it help me or how did it hurt me? Well, I'll give you the pros and cons, okay? Starting with the pros. First of all, it really did help me. The first thing it helped me with was sleep. The indica strains that I was prescribed really helped me catch more sleep than any pharma medicine. So I'm going to call it big pharma. I'm not a big fan of big pharma because I feel like some of their medicine is designed to treat certain symptoms and not necessarily help you with your overall diagnosis. That's just my personal opinion, but some of you may actually need drugs like that. By all means, if it's prescribed and it's helping you, of course, you should stay with that. I am not going there, I'm not touching that. But overall, I feel cannabis was better for me than big pharma. I've tried those drugs as well, and they didn't have a very positive effect, and they had side effects as well, depending on what you take. So let's just say it helped me cope better than big pharma. It helped me sleep better than big pharma drugs. So that's the first positive. Now, if you're not getting enough sleep, that's one of the first bad signs of your mental health issues. You must get adequate sleep. It differs from everybody, but I mean, with insomnia that I had, I wasn't getting more than 2 hours, 3 hours a night. And this went on for years. So that was a big struggle. And it really made me, really almost psychotic during the day. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Calm down. But it really affected my day-to-day functions. I couldn't function as well. I couldn't focus as well. If you have insomnia, you have trouble sleeping, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Not to mention fatigue. So cannabis, indica strains enabled me to do that. The right strain can also help you with depression and anxiety. So it can elevate your mood. It can, if there are strains out there, if you're really sad and you're struggling and you're not getting out of that rut, it can lift your mood up and help you kind of cope with the world better. Same with anxiety. There are strains out there that can calm you down. Anxiety is when your brain doesn't stop, right? And it's fighting among, within you, inside of you, with yourself, as well as with others. So that's where it kind of takes all that down and calms you down. So I honestly found it really helpful to cope with cannabis in my system. That's the honest truth. It was prescribed, and more than anything else, CBD is what you're looking for. For anxiety, CBD is amazing. CBD is a medicine that has so many different benefits. Some of them are still being researched, but I am here to tell you, CBD is amazing for anxiety. It doesn't give you a big high. If that's what you're looking for, that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about something that will calm you down and still help you stay focused, enable you to do your job, enable you to raise your child, enable you to sleep better, enable you to continue with your day and function, right? That's what I'm talking about. CBD is amazing. That really helped me through my journey. The right strain excuse me, the right strain can also help you with mood disorders. So if your mood changes a lot and you want to regulate your mood, if you know the right strain, you have the right prescription, that will also help you keep a steady level mood for however long you want it to go on for. This helps you to get through your workday where you can't be all over the place, you can't be erratic, right? People will notice. You might, if you're like me and unlucky like me, you might even lose your job over it. So the reality is we have to hide it from the world. The stigma is still out there and we can't let everybody else see all our internal struggles. That's where the mood regulation comes in. It helps you regulate your mood. And finally, it allows you an escape. Sometimes, no matter what, it's too much. It's overwhelming. The world is too much, life is too much, struggles are too much, breakups, divorce, death. I don't know what your struggle is, but it might be too much. And that's okay. Your heart is not designed, your brain is not designed to cope with that kind of, life events or trauma without any impact. So first, practice self-forgiveness, practice self-care, but at the same time, if it helps you, that's where cannabis can help you get an escape. Those few hours of you not worrying, not stressing, not being so sad, not wanting to die, not wanting to go and punch someone, whatever it is, it's okay to need that relief. We all go there, right? Some people go to alcohol, some people go and hulk it out at the gym, my favorite. Some people go running, some people meditate. And all of that is constructive. But if you absolutely need, cannabis can help you at least find an escape. All right, let's talk about the negatives now. Whether you like me for it or hate me for it, I don't know, but I gotta give you both sides because it does have quite a few negatives and it may not be the right thing for you. So first, CBD is medicine, pure and simple, and so is cannabis overall. It is medicine and it can have tremendous benefits no matter what your struggles are, but it's not regulated yet. It was just legalized, right? Even though I was prescribed, it's still not fully regulated where you're taking in this medicine that you have multiple symptoms. Your diagnosis has multiple symptoms. You're taking this particular strain that may or may not be right for you. It may help you in some ways, but it may also trigger you in other ways. So you have to experiment until you get the right strain. Your doctor may not get the right strain for you just like that. All right, so that's where the risk lies, where the regulation is still being built up, the standardization is still being built up, the awareness is still being built up. While we're on this topic, if you do want to research strains, go to Leafly, Leafly, leafly.com, the best warehouse of information for anything cannabis related that you can possibly hope for. Educate yourself. Do not go into a new kind of medicine without properly educating yourself on the risks and the benefits. All right, next. THC. People love to get high. And you know what? Life could be really messed up. I don't blame anybody. There was a time when I'd like to get high too. My mom doesn't know yet, so THC can also cause anxiety though. So for anxious people, it may not be the best thing for you. You have to be very careful before you put too much THC in your system. THC is also sometimes unregulated and underreported. So to actually feel, a gentle buzz or high and to feel calm or feel the mood elevation, you don't actually need a lot of THC. A lot of THC can get you to a place where you can be paranoid or you can be super anxious, and it can have really, really adverse effects. Quite the opposite of what you were trying to achieve. So if that's the case, that's not your strain, and maybe THC is not your cup of tea. All right. Now the other thing is, as I said, when you have to experiment with different strains and you don't know what the right one is for you. On that note, I gotta pitch in something else here. Even if you know what the right one is for you, there is no guarantee you can get a regular supply of it all the time. So this is what's different from big pharma meds, where you can go to a doctor and they know all these drugs, they always have it or make it, and so you'll always get a prescription to treat those symptoms. Cannabis isn't like that. Sometimes you can't find the strain that's right for you. So what are you going to do? You're going to try to find an alternative, and then you have to experiment it that way. But mixing strains may not be the best thing for you. You have to accept this as well. Mixing strains can really imbalance your mood. As I said, some of them elevate or affect you positively in some ways, and sometimes negatively. So when you experiment and you mix strains, you smoke one strain one day or another strain the next day, these stay in your system, right? They're not flushed out overnight. They mix within each other and they can cause mood imbalances as well. Something for you to be careful about. Next one, risk of overdependence. This one is really a slippery slope. You see, when you have struggled with depression or anxiety or whatever your case may be, you'd want to recover on your own, by yourself, from your own strength. You want to be able to learn to cope with all those triggers. You want to be able to accept those situations and mindfully let things go. You want to be able to manage and handle things better than you did before without any kind of external dependence on external substance. So that's where, whether it's pharma, drugs, or cannabis, doesn't matter. But the truth is, I personally, this is after all my years of depression and anxiety, I want to conquer my issues by myself, not depending on a particular drug. So even though I was prescribed cannabis and I used it and it helped me through my mental health journey, at the same time I also quit altogether because I didn't want to be dependent on that as the only way to cope with my issues, with my struggles. I wanted to be able to be strong enough to cope. I wanted to practice mindfulness and be able to let go. I wanted to be fully cognizant of my struggles and not escape into another reality so that I can get through the day. That's not how I would suggest recovery. Recovery for me is being stronger, setting boundaries, and learning how to cope with life, the challenges, and everything that you have to do with strength that already lies inside of you. That for me is imperative. So if you're always depending on cannabis to elevate your mood or help you cope with anxiety, then sooner or later you will spend more time in that reality than dealing and trying to be stronger in this reality. So what I suggest for you is, once again, I'm not a medical professional, so it's very hard for me to say, and it's different from everybody. But in general, if you had a choice, then don't depend on this for too long. If it's prescribed, by all means, but other than that, I would encourage you to actually try meditation, yoga, exercise, cardio, martial arts, walking, running, exercise, self-care, mindfulness, affirmation. There's so many ways. There's so many other things that I did to recover. I encourage you to depend and work more on those than just depending on this one substance to make you feel better. And finally, even if you did depend on it, it wouldn't help you fully recover now, would it? You see, at the end of the day, you still have to practice mindfulness. You still have to face your trauma. You still have to accept your trauma. You still have to forgive yourself. You have to forgive others. There's so many milestones psychologically that you have to achieve before you can actually get to a recovery stage. It's an incredible, but also so fulfilling journey that you will go through. Cannabis can help you if you choose, if you educate yourself, choose the right strains, and everything in moderation. But if you over depend on it and you're not, developing your own skills, your coping skills, your own analyzing skills, your mindfulness skills, then at the end of the day, you may not be able to sustain. And that would be my biggest fear. What we don't want is every time life gets tough to turn to the substance and let it help, help us cope with the situation. We don't want that. We want to take on life head on. We want to cope with it by ourselves, within ourselves. And yeah, if we really needed it, then yeah, that's there. But that cannot be your first go-to if you want to recover from your mental health issues. So remember, there's good and bad in everything. And same with cannabis. I personally believe in cannabis, especially CBD. Lots of medicinal benefits there. It is pure medicine. But whether it's right for you or not, your doctor will decide, you will decide. And even if you do go down that path, remember, it doesn't have to be forever. You, by yourself, are strong enough, capable enough, worthy enough that you can make it happen and recover to a certain point by yourself, within yourself, for yourself. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to comment and ask below. Other than that, click the subscribe button so that you can get more videos like this. And if you have any requests, let me know. That's it for me today. Sami signing off. Love, peace, respect. Bye.